Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Tammy Cinnamon Stitches. My name is Tammy. If this is your first time on my channel, hi, welcome. We mainly talk about cross stitching on this channel. We also do a little bit of knitting and crocheting, but that happens towards the end of the video. So if you're just here for the cross stitching part, that's completely fine. I'll let you know if we're going to talk about any other crafts towards the end. I hope you had a wonderful New Year and Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, we ended up going down to Niagara Falls for New Year Eve to watch the fireworks. So that was really cool. If you're interested at all of what we've been up to since moving here to Canada, I will talk about that in our life updates towards the end. So I've got lots of things planned for today, so we'll just probably get started. I thought we'd do a little bit of a mini finish parade of all the things that I finished last year and some of the things that I finished this year as well. I think I had 2 or 3 in January that I finished, so that's pretty cool. And then we will also talk about WIPS and plans. I also wanted to discuss something called a pattern swap. I just wanted to talk briefly about that and to see if anyone was interested in anything of that. But yeah, we'll talk about that more when we get to it. And then I thought we'd also do talk about knitting and crocheting, and then we'll finish off with some life updates. So if any of that sort of stuff interests you, please feel free to stick around, like, subscribe if you see. I know I don't normally say any of that. I always feel so weird telling people to subscribe, but you know, it's very encouraging when I see it. So if you feel, you know, you want to see me again, then please do subscribe. Okay, so we'll get started with the little mini finish parade. Alright, so we'll start on the little mini finish parade. I'm so excited to share. I have got quite a few. Actually, I don't really know how many, maybe 5 or 6. But all of them are not fully finished except for the first one. The first one's fully finished, but the rest aren't. I have stuck some cardboard behind them though and ironed it around just so that it's like easier for me to show you. So if you see them, you're like, oh, is that like finished, ready for framing? It's like, no, it's not laced or pinned or anything. It's literally stuck with sticky tape on the back, like masking tape, just to hold it in place for today. But yeah, so the first one I have to show you was my Chinese New Year start last year. I can't even remember the day of it. Gosh, I didn't write any dates down on when I finished these. Oh well. This was designed by Primitive Stitching, I'm pretty sure, on a 32 count Belfast linen. And I fully finished it into this little tiny pillow, which is adorable. Last year, the Chinese New Year was the year of the rabbit. So yeah, so I did him up. Super cute. I just pulled threads from Stash, so they're just plain DMC, and I just finished it into this little tiny pillow. Yeah, the fabric on the back is, I think, actually a Valentine's Day fabric. Like, it's got love and mine and kiss on it. But the colors worked really well, and I didn't want to buy any other fabric. I just had that one in Stash, so I was like, that'll do. But yeah, super cute little pillow. This one's stitched up really fast too. I think I actually ended up finishing this on the actual day. So whenever the Chinese New Year was last year, that's the day that I finished it. Okay, so the next one that I have to show you is my Mermaid of Atlantis by Mirabilia. I absolutely love this one. The funny thing is that, like, I'm not really a mermaid or a fairy girl, but Mirabilia patterns are so beautiful, especially her mermaids. Like, I'm really excited to start a new mermaid soon, hopefully. Maybe not this year, but I will, you know, it's definitely in the future. So this is the Mermaid of Atlantis. I'll try and get this in the camera, all of it in the camera. There we go. Yes, absolutely love this one. I changed a few things out from the original pattern. If I remember, I'll put a picture of the original here so you can see the difference. There was like a border that I didn't do, and there was some thing here, I think, that I didn't do either. I decided, I mean, I love it, you know, in the ocean where it's so big and, you know, deep and kind of scary. So I kind of wanted to capture that on this fabric, and I love this fabric. So this is a 36 count linen monster mash by Picture This Plus. So it's this beautiful greeny purpley blue, which I thought was just gorgeous. She has a ton of beads in her. Start from the fish. Yeah, where's the camera? There it is. So there's like heaps of there. I think I also moved the fish a little bit further away from her too, from memory. So she has a lot of beads, especially in that middle section there. But she was so much fun to stitch. This was my New Year's start, I think, in 23. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Because the linen was a little 36 count, the beads kind of look a little chunky on her, but they fitted okay in my opinion. But yeah, absolutely love her. I can't wait to get her framed. I'm thinking of doing it in like a dark wood, like almost black wood that's being distressed. Would look really cool with her. But yeah, she's stunning. Every time I look at her, all I want to do is start another mermaid. She's got water lilies, or I think in this ruins of the Atlantis city, I'm assuming, is water lilies. I think she's got water lilies in her hair as well. They're absolutely beautiful, and heaps of cryonic. I put my initials and the date. Oh, actually, I put the date of when I finished. I finished it in February. There you go. February 23. Don't know the exact date, but it was in February, so that's cool. But yeah, she's beautiful. I love this material too because I managed to get these, like, it was almost like light rays coming in here, and oh, I absolutely love it. Love it. So yeah, so that was my second finish for the year. My third finish, I think, no, I don't quite know the order of this one, but I think this was my next finish. This was Happy Anniversary. It was designed by a French designer who I cannot pronounce the name, and I don't want to butcher it, so I will have it across the screen. Most of the information I'll try and remember to have across the screen for you guys. But yeah, this one I actually watercolor dyed the fabric myself because I kind of wanted to make it like a little bit of a scene. And I started this one for my husband. I think it would have been our anniversary, but it would have been our first anniversary. So that's this one here. I changed a lot of things. So again, since I changed so much, I'll try and put a picture here of the original if I remember. But I think that all the hearts are supposed to be red. I've ended up putting snow. This is when I think we were pretty close to when we had decided to move to Canada, and so we were obsessed with just winter scenes. But yeah, it is super cute. I love it. I had dyed the background to be like a grey, so it was kind of like rain and then grass. You can't really see it. The camera's not really picking up, but this says Happy Anniversary there. You can see it a bit better in person. But yeah, it's really, really cute. I absolutely love this one. And I love the original too. I just felt like changing it. Making it a little bit more personal. Oh, I think I actually put the day when I finished it. So I finished it in May 23. Oh, good. I didn't realize I had actually put the month that I finished things, so that's good to know. Yes, that was really pretty. That was for our first year anniversary, which is in April. Yeah, I don't know what else to really tell you about this one, except that I did do a few things differently. I think I'm going to frame this one in like a white simple frame when the time comes. Yeah, at the moment, as I said, like it's just got cardboard and I've just stuck it on there just to show you guys. I will fully finish them later. All right, so the next one I have to show you is Cactus Cat. This one is by Satsuma Street. I absolutely love this one. So this one is so bright and so happy. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like, oh, I love the colors. This is stitched on a 32 count hand dyed a glittery even weave Zweigart, however you say that word, Butterscotch. So this was I think, oh, I've forgotten her name. Her shop was called, I think, the Crafty Bit Shop, but she hand dyes some of her fabrics, and this color is absolutely stunning. It's like a really buttery yellow, and it's got this beautiful glitter in it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the camera, but it's so glittery and makes the purples and pinks pop. So I absolutely love this one. This one is, yeah, this one definitely needs to get framed and hung up. It's so happy. Oh, yeah, really pretty. I don't know when I finished this one. I don't have any dates on it, except for I do have my initials in the sun. But yeah, super pretty. I don't think I changed anything on this one, except I may have changed the color in this plant just because of the yellow fabric. And I think I did his whiskers when I back stitched them. I think I did them with 2 strands rather than 1. But yeah, I think that was it. Anyway, I love this pattern so much. Yeah, don't have anything else to show you. So it's really pretty, but yeah, you can kind of see the glitter in it. It's gorgeous on this fabric. Very pretty, very happy, makes me happy. The next one I have to show to finish is Electra by Nora Corbett. This was my Halloween stitch last year. So in October, my plan is to stitch one of the Bewitching Pixies every year. So last year's was Electra. I stitched this on a 32 count Lugana Twix and Tween, I think, from Fabrics by Stephanie. And I love it. It's like this grey with white, and then there's like this little bit of orange in it too. Like, oh, it's stunning. Really goes well with her. And she looks so pretty. I absolutely love her. She's got a ton of beads in her dress. Hopefully the camera is picking all that up. Looks so pretty. And I did change a few things up with her. So from memory, it was mainly in her wings that I changed, and a little bit in the pumpkin, I think. So I think in her wings, I ended up using a green cryneck and a green bead rather than the cord for black. And I think in the pumpkin, this was all meant to be black, and I ended up making the vines just green. I love this moon too. It's got a lot of beads in the moon. Nora Corbett suggested on the pattern of making the moon glow in the dark, and like I kind of wish I did, but at the same time, given that I want to do all of them, some of them I don't think have moons, so not all of them would glow in the dark, so that would annoy me, I think. So I ended up just keeping it the normal one. I don't know whether I want to hang on to all of them, and then after I get a collection, so after like, I don't know, 8 years or something, then get them all framed with the same frame. But then I kind of want to see them every year. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should just choose like a simple black frame for each one. Then I can't really go wrong, right? But yeah, absolutely stunning. I love this one so much. This was so much fun. And it was really quick. Like, I think I stitched it up within like 3 days or a week or something, maybe. I think it was probably a week. But yeah. Oh, the other thing too that I changed is like right here in the pumpkin, I ended up putting, I think the camera's going to pick it up, but I ended up putting a bit of cryneck just in the center here. So like it looks like the pumpkin's actually got, you know, some fire in it. But yeah, I love her. Unfortunately, the camera kind of washes out the color in the fabric because like, yeah, it's just really, really stunning fabric. So I think that's all the finishes for last year. I have got 3 finishes for January, so last month. So that's pretty exciting. I ended up finishing Rudolph by Nora Corbett. My plan also is on Christmas Eve to stitch one of the reindeers that Nora Corbett designs. I've forgotten what they're called. The series was called something. But anyway, I started off with Rudolph. Yeah, so I stitched him on a 32 count beautiful beige linen. So that's this guy here. And oh, I love how he turned out. He is so sparkly. Like there is so many gems in him that it's unbelievable. Like when I finished, like, because normally I do like all the stitches first and then I put all the cryonic and specialty threads and then I stick the beads in. Like that's kind of like the order that I normally do it. And actually, yeah, I did take a photo. I'll insert a photo. This is all the stitching that is actually in him. It's like tiny. And then I added the cryonic. So that's this next photo. So it's still not that much. And then I added the beads and oh my gosh, most of that is beads. Like in this border here, there is like a bead every second stitch pretty much. So many beads. But oh, he looks absolutely stunning and he sparkles like crazy. I absolutely love him so much. But yeah, so my which I'll talk about in a minute, but the fabric that I had originally chose for this guy came and the color was totally not what I was expecting. So I was like, oh, I can't do that. But at the same time, I think I mentioned in my last video, I generally, you know, use a lot of traditional colors when I decorate for Christmas. So I didn't want to put them on blue fabric because it would kind of not necessarily clash, but it just wouldn't really match anything else. So when I had him and I had this fabric left out, I was like, oh well, you know, this fabric actually looks really nice next to my Royal Holiday Mirabilia and my Santa that I'm stitching. So I was like, oh well, they'll probably work really nice together, and because it's kind of like a neutral color, everything stands out beautifully anyway. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, stitching these guys on blue looks absolutely beautiful. If you are stitching it on a blue, then I am so jealous because it is gorgeous. But I do really like him on this color as well. It just, I don't know, just makes him look, to me, a little bit more vintage, if that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, I'm just really happy with him. I absolutely love him. My plan is to finish all of these guys. So this is my first one of the reindeers, and then when I stitch the other ones, I want to finish them in a frame that lights up a little bit. Like hubby's already planned something out, I think, but like a frame that's also attached to another frame, so every time I finish one I can sort of hook them all together and kind of have like this long framed thing of all the reindeers is my plan. And then he also wants to put a little bit of lights just so that you can really capture the sparkle in them, which I think would be really cool. So that is our plan, but I will probably finish like 2 or 3 before I actually build that. Yeah, so that I finished in January. I think it was like the second week of January I finished him. I can't quite remember, but yeah, anyway, I was so super happy. Beading was a struggle. Like I think I ended up taking 2 full days to bead almost, just because there was so many. Like I'm pretty sure I almost finished a whole packet of beads, and those beads have got like 300 in them or something, so it was a lot. My second last finish to show you is my monthly sampler. So in my last video I said that I was going to do the monthly samplers by Country Cottage Needleworks, I think. Yeah, Country Cottage Needleworks. So every month I plan to do their little samplers. And so this year's was, so last month was January, obviously, and I finished this one off. I absolutely love this one. It is so cute. Oh, I love the snowman. It's adorable. So yeah, really, really cute. Got some snowmen, a beautiful blue house, snowflakes. February's monthly stamp, which I'll show you soon, is absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited to start that one. But yeah, so this is also stitched on 32 count beautiful beige linen, same as the reindeer. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I think this is the called for fabric for this one. But yeah, so super pretty. This one I plan to fully finish with a magnet and then have like a bit of a magnet board, and so every month I can swap them out of the frame, just so I don't have to buy a frame for each one, if that makes sense. So whenever there's a new month, I can just take January's out and put February's in, if that makes sense. So that is my plan. I do a lot of like thrifts, like I love going to thrift stores and finding things that I can, you know, paint up and change. So every time we go into the thrift store, I kind of like look around and see if there's anything that I can use. Eventually, hopefully, I will find something that will fit these guys in perfectly. Cool. And I think, oh, there's one more. So I don't have it with me because I've sent it off, but I've decided to join Paper Laura's ATC swap, which stands for Artist Trading Card, which is a great little stitch along thing that she's doing. If you are at all curious to see I think Papercraft is her Instagram. I think she's actually called Stitching by the Shore on Flosstube, I think. I'll stick it along the screen if I'm wrong. But if you haven't seen her Flosstube, go check her out. She is amazing. She does a lot of small stitches and then she scrapbooks them, which is really, really cool. Like one of my first crafts that I ever did was card making, like when I was a child. Like that's probably the first little thing that I did. And so, you know, seeing all the paper crafts that she does with the stitching is awesome. So yeah, anyways, so I decided to join her in her ATC winter swap, which is where we take like a small winter stitch and we stitch it up, and then we also put it onto a piece of card that is, I think it was like 2.5 inches by 3.5 maybe. Anyway, so like a little tiny card, like a business card sort of size. And then so you're combining your stitching with papercraft, and yeah, I had so much fun with it. So I'll insert a photo here of what I did. It was like a little teacup and a book. So yeah, the whole thing was based around winter. And yeah, so I think I took a photo of how I made it, maybe. But I basically just watercolored a little tiny painting. I stuck some cardboard, some lacy material for the windows, and then I interfaced the stitching. So I got a piece of stitching, I cut around it, and then I stuck some interfacing onto it, and then I fuzzy cut it again, I think. It was a while ago. I can't quite remember what I did. Yeah, anyway, and then I stuck on. You can see what it looks like. It's fine. But yeah, so that's been sent off to her. So hopefully she will receive that soon. I think the idea is that we send her in something and then she swaps them with somebody else's. So hopefully I will get back someone else's, and after getting their permission, I might show it as well. So I'm really excited to participate in that. So that was another finish for January, which was really fun to do. Yeah, so I think that's all my finishes. I think. Yes, I've got nothing else here. Kind of a big pile of finishes, but nothing in front of me. So yeah, so now we'll get on to our WIPS and our plans. Alright, so we'll do my WIPS first. The I suppose the latest WIP was my Santa. So this is Gift of Peace by Lavender and Lace. I am stitching this on a 32 count, oh, where's my notes? 32 count chestnut linen. It is the same linen that is used in my Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. I think I mentioned last video, but I'm trying to sort of make them kind of similar so that I can have them framed next to each other. I will insert a picture here of my progress I showed you last time. So I had just sort of kind of started him. My plan was to finish him by Christmas, but that did not happen. We ended up being super, super busy. So I'm almost finished him. And I did get a heap done in him, but I think because Christmas was kind of over, I just didn't want to stitch him anymore. So he's going to go away now until July. But I will show you what I've done so far. So I've got him against the board, so hopefully you'll be able to see him a little better. So yeah, so that's how much I've done. I absolutely love, like, look at this color here. The gradients are gorgeous in him. Look. See if I can get him in the camera. All right, yeah, so that's how much I've done so far. I did stitch his gloves, but I didn't like the color that they were charted in, so I ended up having to frog them all out. I ended up having to just pull them all out because I didn't like the color at all. So I think I may have taken a photo. If I did, I'll put it up. They were charted the same green as that was in his basket. And I was just like, green gloves? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, they looked beautiful, but I didn't like them. So I pulled them out and I planned to do them in probably like a dark brownish grey instead. So yeah, so that's the only thing that I've really changed. The other stuff is I've also added in whisper thread in his beard, so his beard's a little bit fluffy. And I also plan to put Cryonic in him, which I think I've started to do just down here in his ribbon. You can kind of see a little bit of that sparkle. And then I also plan to put a few beads in him too. So yeah, gosh, this border is actually bigger than I thought. But he looks so pretty. And as I said, like, oh, look at that beautiful gradients and reds turning out really nicely in the camera. So all I have to do is, there's like, oh, I think I showed you a picture before. This is the actual pattern. So there's a green sort of wreath thing that goes around him. And then he has some gold detail at the top, which I plan to do in Cryonic. Yeah, and then just his gloves. So he is almost done. My plan is to probably bring him out maybe in Christmas in July. Otherwise, I'll bring him out this Christmas and finish him. But he looks so handsome. I absolutely love this pattern so much. So this was by Lavender and Lace, if I forgot to say. Yeah, really, really nice. Put that one down, actually. Sorry. I'll just rearrange my desk for a minute. All right. The next one I have to show you is one that I am super excited to share. So this one I've been working on throughout most of January because I couldn't put it down. And that is my Long Dog Sampler my Pointed Fifth by Long Dog Samplers. That is this one here. In my last video, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue in blue or if I wanted to change up the colors here in the center. And so a lot of you guys reached out, which was awesome. Like, I love it when I get comments. So feel free to always comment. But yeah, most of you guys said that I should continue with blue, and I'm so happy that I listened because I love how it's turning out. So I had started in the center here, and I think last time I had done these 3 columns, and I had gone up and done the border of the archways here, I think from memory. I'll insert a picture here of what I showed you last time. And I was trying to figure out to put inside the archways, like what colors. And so I ended up getting a couple of blues just to try it out. And oh, it looks so pretty. This one's a big one. So I filled in those 3 archways, which was a lot of block stitching. But yeah, as I said, once I started, I couldn't put it down. So, okay. So here I am now. I absolutely love this one. Ooh, those colors are turning out really nice in the camera today. But yeah, so that's where I am. And I absolutely love so much how it's looking. It looks really, really cool. Yeah, so this was my main focus last month. But yeah. So I think I'm gonna put this one away for a week at least. And get some progress on some other stuff. But then when I bring him back out, my plan is to see if I can hold this in a way that's not going to fall down on me. Stay there. Hang on. 2 seconds. I'm going to actually wrap this around. But yeah, anyway, so my plan is to continue working on him through this month, but I will probably put him away just for a little while, just so I can get some progress on some other stuff. And then I will bring him back out. So my plan is to continue on. Okay, let's see if I can hold it like this now. So my plan is to continue on with the whale. So there's like another archway, and I think half an archway. So my plan will be to finish this section hopefully by the end of the month. And then I will continue on this section before going up. But he is huge. It's stitched on a 28 count navy blue Lugana, I think. But yeah, he is absolutely gorgeous. Every time I like bring him out and stitch him, I'm just like, I just want to keep going. I just want to keep going. I want to see it come alive. But yeah. Oh, the other thing too is, so I've mentioned it before, but like in here, oh, you can kind of see the sparkle. I put Krynic around the edges of these little motifs at the bottom. You can see that sparkle. And so to bring it back up, I also put it around the edge of the archways. So you can kind of see the sparkle just a little bit. So just along the inside edge of these archways, I just backstitched with the sparkle Krynic. Kind of see it from a distance. You can see it in person. It catches the light. It's really pretty. But yeah. So that one is super duper exciting because I got heaps of progress done on that one. Yeah, so just to show you again, my plan is to do this archway and this half archway and even finish off with the little squirrel. Yeah, so basically just continue on here until I get to the edge. Is my plan. Yeah, if you want to check out someone who's done quite a bit of progress, Kelly from Pages 3 Stitches. Hi Kelly. She's done hers on a purple fabric and it is so pretty. But I think she's done this whole row and half of this row, I think. And she's done hers in like purples and yellows and whites or creams, and it is really, really pretty. So yeah, go check her out if you want to see more of the pointed fit. I haven't really seen anyone else stitched except for her. But then again, I don't really I don't think I've really investigated many Flosstubers this month. Anyways. So that was my second WIP for the year. My third WIP for the year was I wanted to get more progress done on Forbidden Planet. And I had said to you guys that I wanted to stitch like 100 stitches a day. Well, that failed. I think I've worked on him one afternoon, I think. Possibly. Yeah. It's not a lot, but I have done a bit of progress. So I'll insert a photo here of what it looked like last time. And I'm sorry, this one has a working thread in it, but I don't want to take it out. So just ignore it. But yes, that's how far I've gone in. So I think I've gone a little bit further into this section here. And I think I may have actually got to the edge of the page, maybe, I think. So yeah, I'll continue on here. And then I think I'm just going to end up going up and try and finish that whole page first. So I've done a little bit. I think I may have spent maybe an hour or two on it. But yeah, my plan is to definitely get more progress on him. Slowly he is getting done. This is a chart that I had created myself from some free licensed artwork. That is also stitched on a 32, I think it's 32. 28 easy count Lugana. So as you can tell, it's marked, so it's an easy count. But yeah, super cool. But yes, he needs progress, I know. I was hoping to maybe stitch him during one episode of Star Trek or Star Wars or something or other, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. All right, so the last WIP that I have to show you is actually a new start, sorry. This is my birthday start, which I was so excited to get. Unfortunately, I have done hardly anything on it. So I mentioned in my last video that we were trying to figure out if we're going to go snowboarding during my birthday or after or before. We ended up going on my birthday, so I didn't really have a lot of time to stitch at all on my birthday. I think I managed to actually put maybe 1 or 2 stitches in just so that I had started, but I don't think I actually spent much time stitching. We were too busy. But anyway, this was a dimensions kit, so it's my first dimensions kit. It is called Victorian Charm, which is this one here. I absolutely love this one so much. It is so pretty. One of my, actually, I didn't get permission if she wanted to be mentioned, but one of my friends who I messaged on Instagram, she is stitching this one and it looks absolutely stunning. So I was like, I have to get that pattern. So yes, this is my birthday start. I ended up starting right in the center. So I think I started actually where this little blue square is, right here. Yeah, but I have not done very much. The fabric that it comes with is really scratchy and quite stiff. Which is fine for me because I stitch in a Q-snap, so it doesn't really bother me. But if you stitch in hand, you might want to either invest in getting another fabric or really softening up this one. I ironed the fabric on the highest steam setting twice, and that seemed to soften it up a little bit, enough that it wasn't so scratchy. But yeah, so the kit fabric is an 18 count navy blue Lugana. So, oh no, not Lugana. Sorry, it is an Ada. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Ada. So 18 count Ada. It is navy blue. And that is my pathetic start. Right there in the center. But I haven't done very much on this one. As I said, pointed fifth just took my attention the whole month. Once people were saying, start on blues, and I tried a couple of blues. I tried this blue and I really liked it, and I just couldn't put it down. So this one's, had nothing pretty much on it. But yeah, anyways, so I'm hoping to get more progress on this one this week and next week. So that's my focus piece rather than pointed fifth. But yeah, just a little mini start. But yeah, the fabric is, quite stiff. I don't really know how to show you, but it's quite a stiff fabric. But yeah, I think it's going to turn out really cool though. The threads, I had to, the threads come, let's see if I can show you. They come in like this. So, sorry, this is my first dimensions kit, so I didn't really know what to expect. So if you've never stitched a dimensions kit and you're curious, it comes with the fabric, and it also comes with the threads on this, and they're like hanging down. I know that if I left them hanging down, they would turn into a massive knot. So I ended up taking them off and putting them on bobbins. But yeah, so this is the cards that they come in. I've just chopped them off so that I could have a little bit here just in case just in case I lose like the number of the color or anything. I can double check on the back. But yeah, so they come in these cards, and then you also get a needle, which is really cool. But yeah, so they're a great kit for you to take away somewhere because they have everything that you need. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited to see how this one turns out, really. I think it's going to turn out really cool. The coverage is pretty cool on the 18 count. Yeah, and the only thing is I think this one has blended threads and half stitches. I don't think it has any quarter stitches, so it's probably a good beginning one, I reckon, for a dimensions kit. But yeah, look how cool that house is. I absolutely love this house. So where we're living at the moment here in Toronto, there's a lot of houses that actually look like this. Not as tall, but they have like this little archway beginning, and they usually have like maybe to about here. There's little cute little skinny houses everywhere. I'm just so in love with them. So I was really excited. The only thing that I do plan to change is there's a whole bunch of stars that you stitch. And instead of using DMC to stitch them, I plan to use a sparkly Krynic, which I forgot to grab, but just a white sparkly Krynic instead, just to give it a bit of a sparkle. I was tossing up between putting beads in there, but then in the end I was like, that's a lot of beads. I think with how beaded up Rudolph was, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to do more beads just yet. So I've decided to do it with Krynic, but I reckon it'll look really pretty just having a little bit of sparkle in there anyway. So yeah, I'm really excited to get more progress done on this one. Super excited. And that, I think, is all my WIPS. Yes, all my WIPS so far. All right, so we'll talk about my plans now. Normally I keep like a little tiny diary of things that I sort of plan for the year. But for Christmas, I got this beautiful journal diary, which is absolutely stunning. It's got some absolutely gorgeous pages in it. And every month, I'll just show you a blank one first. It has a page set up like this. So kind of like the stitching book of days. So this I've dedicated to every month to just my crafts and a few little, just mainly my crafts, just so it's easy for me to organize. And then it also has pages like this where I write down and organize for the month. So I'll show you February's. I've sort of filled it out a little bit. So for the month of February, I write down my knitting and crocheting projects in this little section here. So right now I've got 3 planned. I'm trying to limit myself to 3 extra projects, whether that be knitting, crocheting, or diamond painting, just so that I'm not I'm not overwhelmed with how many projects I want to work on that month, because right now I want to work on everything, but I can't. So extra projects I write down here. Down here I have all my cross stitching. So the projects that I plan to work on this month are Victorian Charm, the Forbidden Planet, Pointed Fifth, and my February sampler. And then I have who designed it, what I plan to stitch on it, when I started. I think I also have if I've added anything extra. the name of the floss or the Krynic or the whatever there as well. And also I've written down finished but no date. So that when I finish it, I can highlight it and I know that that's a finish that month. And then I also have here, this will be dedicated to my paintings. So every week I hope to do a little tiny painting, and then every month a larger painting. I've mentioned it on Instagram, but I haven't really talked about it here. I'm trying to think. I might talk about that a little bit later, actually. But yeah, so my plan is to do a little painting and then every week, and then one big painting for the month. So I write down the name of the painting, what inspired me to paint it, and the date that I actually painted it, and materials that I used. Like, for example, the first little one that I did this month, I painted on a little wooden ornament. And so I've written that down and the day that I painted it. Yeah, so that's sort of like the first page. And then it kind of opens up to the whole monthly section, which is what I've done here. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Okay, there we go. So I've done it here, if you can see that, and that's in the camera, hopefully. So I like kind of representing my projects in colors and symbols rather than writing it per month, because I find it a lot easier that when I'm skimming through, I can kind of quickly see how many days I've worked on a project rather than reading what I've worked on every day, if that makes sense. So to start off, those purple colored squares represent a new project start. So if you see a colored in square, that means I have a new project planned for that day, new start project planned for that day. And then in here, it might be easier if I fold this. Each of my projects is represented by a different colors square. And then my knitting and crocheting projects are represented by a ball of wool. And then my diamond painting is represented by a diamond. And every time I work on a piece, I put in the colored square that it worked on. Ignore this bit, I wrote something wrong. So for example, on this day, I've got 3 blue squares for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then according to here, the blue square is the pointed fifth, so that I can look and know that I have worked pointed fifth for 3 days. Does that kind of make sense? I just find it a lot easier so that when I look at it, I can go, oh, okay, I'm just counting up blue squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I worked on pointed fifth 6 days this month, rather than having it all written out. Because otherwise you kind of have to read every single thing to know how many days you worked on it. So it's my way of cheating, I guess. But yeah. And anything else I need to talk about that? Not really. This little red square is obviously for Valentine's Day. But yeah, it's just a very simple way of me sort of keeping track for my personal gain. And yeah, I think that's it. So we'll talk about my new starts that I have planned for this month. So as you can see on here, that I have a new plan started on for the 4th of February, the 10th of February, the 11th of Feb, and also I think that's the 19th as well. I've also got a new start planned. So we'll go through what I had planned for that. So on the 4th, I planned a knitting start, actually, which I'll talk about in my knitting. The 10th is the Chinese New Year. Now, there is a massive sale going on, I think, hosted by the Hugo Stitcher, I think. And it is such a cool sale that I really, really want to join. I think it's called just the Dragon Sale, maybe. But this year, Chinese New Year is represented by the dragon. And there are so many cool dragon patterns out there. As soon as I heard that she was doing like a sale, I was like, oh, quickly Googling like a cool dragon picture. And I was like, no, I can't, this year I had planned to not buy anything new until I had finished the stuff that I already have. So I very depressingly was like, no, I better not. And then hubby was like, oh, why don't you just buy like a little mini kit? And I'm like, no, because if I buy a little mini kit now, then, you know, I'll just keep buying kits all year. Like, no, I need to firmly say that I'm not buying. So instead of stitching something, I did have a diamond painting stashed away. And I don't think I've talked about diamond painting on this channel before, but diamond painting is another craft that I do. And I actually did it before I started really getting into stitching. So I'm pretty sure it was diamond painting that actually brought me back to cross stitching. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, and so I had this diamond painting of a dragon. And I was like, okay, I will do that on the 10th instead. So I'm still doing something dragony, but I'm not, doing a cross stitch, unfortunately. But that is okay. I am trying very hard to make sure that I keep to my rules because if I decide to break one, then I know I will be buying all the time. So I'm kind of joining in, but not really. Anyways, the diamond painting that I plan to do is called, where is it? It is called Butterfly Dragon by Herb Linnerhard. It is a huge piece, so I'm just going to insert a picture here or in front of me of the actual artwork. It is absolutely gorgeous. There's this cute little butterfly dragon on it. It has the most silliest looking face, and then the wizard is pretty awesome. So I plan to start that on the Chinese New Year instead. But yeah, I'm super excited to do that. So I'm kind of joining in the Chinese New Year start, but doing a different craft, which is fine. It is okay. Hopefully next year, maybe I can do a dragon, because there's some really cool dragon pictures out there. Okay, the next new start that I plan is I plan to crochet a heart pillow. So I had brought this wool. Oh, it's so soft. I had brought this wool in plans to make a blanket for Christmas, but it just never happened. So instead, I plan to make a heart pillow for Valentine's Day with it. So it's got these beautiful pinky reds in it and white. Very Christmas and very Valentine's Day. So I plan to start that on the 11th in hopes that I'd be finished by Valentine's Day, depending on what sort of and how big a heart pillow I make. But hopefully in 3 or 4 days I will have a heart pillow finished. I haven't found a pattern yet or anything, so I'll probably post on Instagram a picture of the pattern that I plan to do and me starting on the 11th, which is this weekend, isn't it? Gosh, time is just flying. Yeah, this weekend. Wow. But anyways, so that'll be pretty exciting. I'm really excited. I'm hoping to crochet or knit with my hand instead of using a hook. I've seen people do that with this chunky wool, so it will be a new experience trying that. Anyway, so the next monthly start I have planned is for the 19th, and that is my February sampler by Country Cottage Needleworks. So each month I plan to start one of these. I knew I was going to be super busy at the beginning of this month, so I didn't book it in for the first week. Normally I would probably start these the first week of the month, but this time I'm going to do it on the last week. So this is I think this is the right one. Yeah, February sampler of the month. You're probably not going to really see it, so I might insert a picture here. It is so cute. It's pink for Valentine's Day, and it's got like these little hearts and little letters and cakes, and the little pink house is adorable. So I'm really excited to start this one. It will be stitched on the same fabric as my January one, which is the beautiful beige linen. So quite a neutral color, and using the classic colorwork colors, which I think I've shown before, so I'm not going to show them again. but they're really, really cute. So that will be my start for February the 19th, I think. Yeah, because I've got quite a few projects planned for the beginning of the month. I figured I'd do it at the end, and then that way, by then I'd probably be sick of stitching on blue. So doing a pink would be really nice. Yeah, I think, yeah, so that's all of my plans for this month. My plans roughly for the year, obviously I will have a Halloween start, one of the Bewitching Pixies. I haven't decided which one yet, but I will be doing that in October. And then obviously in Christmas, I'll be doing another reindeer. And that's mainly all the buying of patterns that I want to do for this year. The rest, I want to finish what I've got. So in my last video, I'm pretty sure I did a WIP parade and I showed you my WIPs. I don't have heaps, but excuse me. I don't have heaps, but I find that if I've got more than 3, I end up getting a little bit flustered and I don't know what to work on. So my plan will be to finish those. So next month, I will probably put Pointed Fifth aside in March and work on either the moth or my birthday start, which I think was Sewing Comfort. So you will see those WIPs back into the rotation. This month I will be focusing on Victorian Charm and Pointed Fifth just to try and get a big chunk of the progress done. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it all I have to show you about my plans. Before we get into the knitting and crocheting, there is just a few things that I want to talk about as well. So first of all, my fabric for the reindeer didn't work, which I've mentioned before. I brought this color thinking that there was going to be a lot more green and earthy tones in it. It ended up being super pink. Don't get me wrong, the fabric is gorgeous, but I wouldn't really stitch on it. So this is it was by Fiberlicious. It is a Lugana. That is the name. But the it was advertised as more of a greeny earthy color, and I've seen other people stitch on it and it comes out a lot more greeny earthy. But this particular one, I'll take it out and show you, is super pink and purple. And it is gorgeous. It is a beautiful piece of fabric. However, personally, I don't see myself stitching on it. So this is the color. Well, that's actually fairly close to how it's showing up in the camera. It's probably a bit more pink than what it actually is showing. But it is a Lugana. I'll show you the other side too. And it is a 26-inch by 36. And it is beautiful. I will actually insert a photo here so that you can see the exact color of it. As I said, it is beautiful, but I personally don't see myself stitching on it. It's too pink for me, basically, is my only problem with it. So I was wondering if there was anybody out there who would be willing to do a fabric swap with me. If you've got a piece of fabric that's roughly the same size, so 26 by 36 inches, doesn't necessarily have to be hand dyed. It doesn't have to necessarily be a Lugana either, but if you've got a piece of fabric that's about that size that you would be willing to swap this one for, please comment below or message me on Instagram and take a photo of the piece of fabric that you want to swap with, and yeah, maybe we can do a swap. That way we're not wasting, because like I don't hate this fabric, like it's gorgeous, but I just personally wouldn't stitch on this brighter pink. Like I would stitch on a pastel pink, but this is probably a little bit too bright for me. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with the fabric. It is beautiful. It's very lovely. It's a 32 count Lugana, 26 by 36 inches. So if you would be interested in swapping with me, yeah, just leave a comment below or message me on Instagram and we can talk about swapping if you were interested. Yes. I've never done a swap like that before, so I'm not sure if people are for it, against it, or what. So if it's something that's not done in the Flosstube world, I'm sorry. I'm not, definitely hope I'm not offending anyone, because the fabric is gorgeous, just not the color I was imagining and thinking. So the last thing that I also wanted to talk about regarding cross stitching is doing a pattern swap. So in my last video, someone had reached out to me. I haven't asked if, you know, if she's okay with me mentioning her name, so I won't mention it. But she asked if I'd be willing to do a pattern swap with her for my lavender and lace gift of peace pattern. And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. So we ended up doing a swap. I sent off my gift of peace to her, and I actually just received them this morning, so I'm pretty excited. She sent me some of her lavender and lace pieces as well, which I'll show you in a minute. But it got me thinking, like, it's actually quite a cool idea to swap patterns. So because of the way that we're living at the moment, I can't really collect patterns as much as I would like to. But I have no need to. I don't really have a desire to. I mean, if I stitch something, I'm only ever going to stitch it once. And normally what I do is I photocopy my patterns as soon as I get them, and I make a working copy, which I keep with my stitching, and then I make a good copy, which I keep in just a folder. So I have no real need to hang on to them, if that makes sense. So something that I thought I'd bring to guys' attention, if anyone is interested out there, would they be willing to do some pattern swaps with me? So the patterns that I'd be willing to swap for would be like the Nora Corbetts and the Mirabilias. Yeah, so if you're interested in swapping for a Mirabilia or a Nora Corbett, you know, please comment below or message me on Instagram if that's something that you'd be interested in doing. I'll quickly go through the patterns that I have that I'd be willing to swap, and if there's anything that you see that you really like, and if you've got something similar that you'd be willing to swap with me for. I hope that makes sense. So, for example, I have Rudolph. This is by Nora Corbett. If you have any of the other Christmas reindeers by Nora Corbett, and you'd be willing to swap one of the ones that maybe you've already stitched or that you don't think you'll stitch, for this one, let me know. So it has all the details in it, the pattern. This one's pretty new, so it's in very good condition. But yeah, so if you'd like this one and you'd be willing to swap, just let me know on Instagram or in the comments below, and send me a photo of whatever you would like to swap for. The other one I have is one of the Bewitching Pixies. So this is Electra. Again, if you'd be willing to swap for this one, ideally if you've got a Bewitching Pixie, that would be cool, but basically any of the Nora Corbetts I'd be interested in swapping for. So if this is one that you'd be interested in, just message me on Instagram or down below in the comments. And another one is the Mirabilia Mermaid of Atlantis. And again, if you've got one of Mirabilia's mermaids, or any of Mirabilia's patterns really, that you'd be willing to swap for, just let me know down below. So as you can see, these ones are in pretty good condition. The next one that I have isn't in the greatest condition. It is my Royal Holiday pattern. This pattern I had actually found in a thrift store. Sorry, when I brought it, it wasn't in the best condition, but it doesn't have its packet. I'm sure you won't really be able to make up from the chart. I will cover it anyway. So the pattern itself is fine. There's no damage to the actual chart. You can read it perfectly fine. There's no writing or anything on it. I think, yeah. So I think down the bottom here, actually, you might be able to see it. there's a bit of like, it looks like someone accidentally spilled their coffee on it or something. I'm not sure. There's like a few splashes of, I'm assuming, coffee. Luckily it didn't actually get on the chart, but the chart itself is fine. I don't think you're going to be able to steal anything from that chart. So this is the Royal Holiday by Mirabilia, the Christmas Queen. And that also does come with the photo. Again, I think they put like washi tape or something along the edges. I'm not sure. But yeah. So this one here, yeah, it's a bit damaged. So if you've got a damaged pattern, that's fine. Or if you really want this pattern and you'd be willing to swap for any of Mirabilia's ones, just let me know. Yeah, so those ones are the ones that I have available to swap. If you are interested, just please let me know. Hopefully I'm not stepping on any sort of cross-stitching etiquette. I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know how you guys will respond to swapping, but to me, I feel like it'd be, you know, a great idea, especially for patterns that are, you know, out of print or like really rare. It'd be cool to just, you know, be able to swap them around the community rather than paying like hundreds of dollars for this pattern that's, you know, out of print or something. So the ones that I got from my friend that I sent over, she sent me two gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous patterns. I was only expecting one, and she sent me a second one, and oh, thank you so much. I feel so honored. So the first one is Guardian Angel by Lavender and Lace. So that is this one here. I absolutely love this one. She is so pretty, and she's holding like a little baby. This one, I was originally thinking like, me and hubby are not planning to have children anytime soon, but if I did end up falling pregnant, this one would be so cool to stitch up during the pregnancy, like, and then have it hanging on the wall when they're a newborn. That can be really pretty. And then the second one she sent me, which was a complete surprise, and I felt very lucky and honored. So thank you so much. Again, I won't mention your name just in case you don't want to be mentioned, but the next one is called The First Angel of Light, and that is this one here. I absolutely love the ruffles in her dress. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. This one here, I think I'd probably stitch up first, just because I really like the ruffles in her dress. It's so pretty. Yeah, so those ones are ones that I got swapped with for the gift of peace. I don't have any plans to start them anytime soon, but they will be in the future for sure. So thank you so much again. I absolutely love them. I was so excited when I got your letter. I was like, I got Stitchy Kindness, I got Stitchy Mail. So yeah, cool. Alrighty, so I think that's all the cross-stitching stuff that I have to share with you today. So if you stuck around for this long, thank you so much. Hopefully it wasn't too long by the time I finished editing out all the bits that were weird. Yeah, so we'll end up talking a little bit about knitting and crocheting now, if you are interested in any of that. And also possibly a little bit of painting. I won't show you any of my paintings because I'm very conscious about them. But there is something I wanted to talk about my paintings and my painting journey. So a little bit about that as well. Yeah, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free to stick around. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful month. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about knitting first, I think. So I think I started this in November, maybe. I'm not sure. But I started knitting this little baby jumper, mainly because I was curious. I saw the pattern and I was like, oh, that's cute. Like, I've never done a pattern like that before, so I wanted to try. This is called Bare Necessities by Debbie Bliss. So it was like a set here where you had like a sweater and then a jumper and a blanket and a teddy and little tiny beanie. I was mainly focused on the little sweater. So as you can see, it is adorable. It's got like little bears on it. It is so, so, so cute. But it is done in like a grid, which I've never knitted by looking at a grid, if that makes sense. Like I've done a lot of knitting over my lifetime, but I've never stitched from a grid. So I thought it was really, really cool. This is the close-up of just the sweater itself. It's absolutely adorable. I've only stitched like the tiniest little bit, so don't get too excited. But it's really fun, really interesting. And I love the pattern on it. I'll show you first before I talk a little bit more about it. Sorry, I didn't realize, but I had actually finished midway through a row, which is very good timing. But anyway, so that's how much I've done so far. So it is adorable. I absolutely love, which is probably better, the little baubles. I've never done baubles before, so that was a new experience. And then there's like the cable stitching, and then there's like this one here. I did a mistake, so ignore that. We'll go over to this one. Looks a bit better. So they're stitched. You know how you normally, I'm just trying to think of the word of how to describe it. Normally when I'm stitching a new color in like that, I would bring the wool across the row. Where this particular one, you cut it off. There's a special word for it, but I've forgotten. Where you actually insert a new color. So I'll show you in the back if I can make it look just a tiny bit neater. Because it is like a massive tangle. Okay. See if you can see that. This one's probably the better one to show you. So as you can see, like you add in, where's my finger? There we go. You add in a color at the back here as you're stitching, and then you chop it off. So these are all dangling, and I have to tie them and weave them in the end. But you're adding a new wool for each of those colors, which is a new technique, which I've never done before, but it helps it to lay nice and flat. That's the bad square. That's the good circle. So yeah, so it's looking really, really cute. I don't think I will continue it because, I mean, I don't, my sister-in-law and my sister are having babies soon, and I had originally planned to knit this, but I don't think my sister-in-law would really appreciate it. I think it would end up going to like the thrift store, and my older sister, I think she's due in like a week, so this is not getting to her on time. So I have no real reason to continue stitching it. But I had really fun, you know, working it out and playing around with it. I think I might end up stitching like the pattern in a blanket. I think that would look really cute. But yeah, so I haven't worked on it since November, I'm pretty sure, and I don't think I will continue working on it. But it was really fun to do. This wool is really nice and soft. So yeah, that's one thing that I've been knitting, which sadly won't be finished. unless I get like a real spark and I really want to finish it, or you know, I end up getting a friend who falls pregnant or something. Maybe I'll finish it then. The next thing that I have to show you that I am knitting is I started another one of the Red Nose Gang clowns. So I think it might have been my second video. I showed you guys I generally stitch toys. Like I love knitting toys, which is probably why the jumper I'm kind of a bit bored with. But and I really like the Red Nose Gang. And I was currently knitting one already, and I'm almost finished him, but I left him back in Australia. I didn't bring him over with me, so I kind of missed working on him a little bit. So I ended up starting a new one. But before I show you the one that I plan to start, I'm going to insert a photo here of one that I have completed for one of my nephews, I think. I've forgotten his name. Not my nephew. My nephew's name's Finley, but I've forgotten the name of him. But yeah, he was really cute. I stitched him like years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. I don't know how old Finley is. I think it was for his first birthday, so like 4 or 5 years ago maybe. But he was really fun to do, so I really wanted to make another one. And I wanted to start on this one. So this is Godfrey Gadabout. I think because we're traveling at the moment, so it's kind of like, oh, I'll stitch him. So he is so cute. He's got like a camera. He's got this umbrella that reminds me of Mary Poppins. And then he has his suitcase and a map. And then on his head, he's got sunglasses and trees. I think I'm going to change this. I don't know if I'll put trees on there. And I think I'm going to change the color of the hat to maybe a pink. But everything else I will probably keep. Yeah, he's so cute. So I've started on the main body. And if you're not familiar with... oh, sorry, I don't think I told you the names. So this is... I think it's Jean or Jean Greenhouse. I think Greenhouse is how you pronounce her name. I'm not sure. But that's her name there. She designs a lot of these clowns, which I absolutely love. But I think if you're not familiar with her, how she does these is that you start here on the leg and you stitch one leg, then you stitch the other leg, and then you join them together, and then you continue stitching the body and then the head and then the hat, like it's all one big massive piece. So I've started on one of the legs with the blues, and this is how far I've gotten. Not very far. I think this was like an afternoon stitch maybe, or an episode stitch. I'm watching a lot of Star Trek lately for some reason, so I'm assuming it was one episode of Star Trek. Yeah, so I've just started doing the leg. So you end up stitching this, I think it's like about 40 rows, and then you stitch up another 40 rows, and then you stitch like them together, and then you just keep going. So it's really easy, really fun. It's very, like, I'm a fairly fast knitter, if that makes sense, and I don't really look at what I'm doing. If I'm just doing normal stocking stitch or even just normal knitting, I just fly through it. So again, you know, if I can't be bothered thinking about what I'm crafting, this is really fun because it doesn't take too much of my brain power. Yeah, so we'll see how far he gets. The body is usually the biggest part to get done because it's such a big piece, and then you do all the rest. I'm actually really excited though to do his pants. I don't know why, but they look so cute, these little shorties. And the umbrella, actually, it really reminds me of Mary Poppins, so I'm pretty excited to try that. But yeah, and the little birdie's so cute. Look at the little birdie. I think in one of her other patterns, like, I've got all the books, she's got a pattern where she's got a backpack, and there's like a sandwich and like a thermos. So I think I'm going to stitch that as well to put on him. And what else was there? I can't remember, but yeah, I think I might change this up to something different, just because, I don't know. Why not? I can mix and match as I choose. So I'm pretty much doing all the colors. I love the color palettes that she chooses. Like, I don't really see the point in changing them, except the hat. So the hat, I think I will do pink. I don't really like it white, but other than that, I like everything else. So most of the colors will be the same as this one. Yeah, so that's all of my knitting to show you. I will show you my crocheting now. So I've already talked about it, but yeah, I plan to do a heart pillow in this wool. I plan to either crochet it or hand knit it. I don't really know yet. But one thing that I have been crocheting, hubby, I've already crocheted him a beanie before we actually came to Canada, but he complained that it wasn't warm enough. So we ended up having to buy some more wool, and I ended up getting this wool, but I've just realized I forgot to grab the tag. I don't know what this wool is called, but it is a really soft, chunky wool. which is really warm. So it's quite a thick, I don't know how to show you this, but it's quite a thick wool, but it's really soft, and it has a lot of body to it. So he chose the color, but yeah. And then I ended up crocheting him a beanie. I'm just trying to find out where's my seam. There it is. And it's, after it's been crocheted, it's quite a stiff. It created quite a stiff beanie, which hubby wanted because he doesn't like it when it flops around apparently. So this is the beanie that I created. I followed a free pattern, which I can't remember its name, but I will link it down below if I remember. Hopefully I remember. But it has these cool little ridges. Actually, I wonder if I put something white behind it, if it will show up. The camera's kind of just blending it all together. That's a little bit better. So it's got like these ridges that come down, and then obviously did like the rim on the edge there. I think it was just called like a men's ribbed beanie or something. I'm not sure, but it was a free pattern online. Very simple, didn't take me long to make. I'll insert a picture actually so that you can see the ridges a little bit better. But yeah, it's super warm. Yeah, nice and thick. He's got such a big head though. So when I was like, this is like huge on me, like it falls like straight down. But when I was stitching it, I had to constantly keep checking with him because I was like, is it really that needs to be that big? Oh, I better add a few extra crochet hooks. But that's okay. Yeah, so that's the other thing that I crocheted, which again was super fast. It took me like 2 or 3 nights, I think, and that was about it. I say like 2 or 3 nights, given that, you know, like a movie length is usually how much time I actually get to stitch or do anything. So probably all up like 5 hours or 6 hours or something. But it was really fun to do. Yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about is painting. So I have mentioned several times that I paint, but I haven't really shown any of my paintings on Flosstube. So on my Instagram, I am trying to. And the main reason is because I am very shy when it comes to my paintings. And I'm very much a perfectionist. So for some reason, I get very stressed out and anxious about my paintings. When I was a kid, you know, with basically all crafts, it was very much like I constantly was encouraged to paint or to craft for somebody else. Like it was always like a gift kind of thing. As in, you know, if I was knitting, it would be a toy for someone, or if I was painting, it would be a painting for someone, or if I was doing anything really, it was always in mind for someone else. Like we never went to the craft store just to buy something because I wanted to make it, you know what I mean? And that is fine. Like there is nothing wrong with giving and making things for people. Like it brings a lot of joy, and I love making things for people, don't get me wrong. But it also kind of built up this sort of almost guilt that to paint something or to create something just for me, I would end up feeling guilty, like I was, you know, wasting money or wasting time or energy, like that should be for someone else. I should not be allowed to keep it, kind of thing. And cross stitching actually was the first craft where I have purely got things for myself. As in, when I choose patterns that I want to stitch because I want to stitch them, not because I'm having to give them to someone, or not because I feel obliged to send them away to somebody. It's because I want to hang them on my wall, or I want to, you know, stitch them because I just want to stitch it. And it's been really, really good because I finally have, you know, slowly been building up this mentality to not feel so guilty about making something for me. And that probably sounds extremely selfish. I'm not trying to be selfish. I feel like I'm not the only one out there who probably has that mentality of feeling a little bit guilty about making something that makes them happy rather than making it for somebody else. And again, there's nothing wrong with making for someone else, and I do love making it for somebody else, but there's also a bit of joy of being able to just do it for yourself. And painting is the worst for me. I've never been able to paint or draw something that just because I've wanted to paint or draw it. I've always been influenced by someone. Like someone would say, oh, paint me this, can you paint me this like nicely? But or I would have to be painting something for a grandparent or for a parent or something like that. And in a way, it kind of sucked the joy of painting, because I was always stressing, like, is this painting good enough for them? Like, is it perfect enough? Is my painting good enough for them to appreciate it? And then when I give it to them, I'd be so anxious about how they would receive it. And it sounds silly. And I sound silly, and I feel silly for saying it. But it's something that I've struggled with. And so I'm trying to build up a mentality where I'm not so worried about what I'm creating, but just come back to the joy of creating, if that makes sense. So when I'm painting, I don't want to worry about what the end product is actually going to be. I want to be able to just paint and enjoy the process of painting. Because, it does bring me a lot of joy. I love painting, but I'm always very insecure about it. And so a bit of a ramble there, but my plan for this year is to paint and to actually put it out there, as in to actually post it on Instagram, and show people my paintings, whether I like them or not, which is going to be very hard, because if I don't like something that I've done, I very often destroy it or throw it out or paint over it or something. And so I want to be able to look at something and paint it, enjoy painting it, and then be able to show someone else, even though it isn't perfect, So it'll be a challenge, and it might seem like a silly challenge for some people out there, but it will be a challenge for me. There, even the paintings that I have posted so far, I can probably point out like 20 things about them that I don't like, and I will focus on those 20 things that I don't like so much that I will end up hating the piece, and I get very worried that the piece just isn't good enough for anybody else to see. If that makes any sense. So my goal is to every week create a little tiny painting. I've got like a whole bunch of these little wooden ornaments. So every week I want to paint a little wooden ornament, and then once a month work on a bigger painting. And I won't be putting them on Flosstube or anything. I don't really want to. Like, Flosstube is mainly for stitching, so don't worry about it if painting is really not your thing. But if you do follow me on Instagram, just a heads up, on Fridays I hope to post some paintings. So even though I really appreciate it when people like and comment, like, it brings me a lot of confidence, don't ever feel obliged to like or comment on any of my posts. In a way, it's a healing process, knowing that even though I don't like the piece, it's out there, people are looking at it, and I'm hoping that will help build up my insecurities regarding my paintings, because someone else has seen it, so that was, as I said, a bit of a ramble, but I feel like it's something that a lot of people may struggle with, and a lot of crafters. Like, one of the comments I got on one of my paintings was, we are our biggest critics, and that is so true. We are. And I hope to slowly slowly get better at accepting my abilities, and rather than constantly worrying about what other people think, about the imperfections, and hopefully kind of reflect that into my personal life as well. Like, I am a very shy person normally. And so whenever we go to a gathering, I am often very quiet, often very insecure. And I hope to, build a bit more confidence up in my life. So I think by doing something that I love and posting about it will help encourage me to be less insecure, if that makes sense. Yeah, anyway. And if there is anybody out there who feels the same way and who gets very self-conscious about their craft, I hope that we can take this journey together, maybe. And that we can both help support each other, because people can say, the loveliest things, and it feels really nice to receive those lovely compliments, but ultimately, it's something that we have to change in ourselves. You can receive all the compliments in the world, but if you're not willing to take in those compliments, then it's not really going to help your situation. If that makes sense. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, so I'll stop. I don't think I have anything else really to discuss today, except for a few life updates if you are willing and wanting to listen to that. So if you've gotten this far, thank you so much again. And I'll just quickly talk a little bit about a few life updates. All right, so just very quickly, a few life updates. If you are new to my channel and this is like your first episode that you're watching, my husband and I are Aussies, and we have just moved to Toronto in Canada. So our life is crazy at the moment. We've had heaps of fun, and I'll just briefly talk maybe about Christmas and New Year's maybe. And we recently went snowboarding. Well, hubby went snowboarding. I sat and watched. First of all, though, we'll talk about Christmas. So Christmas, we had a lovely time. We went and had this brunch. I think it's called the Old Mill, but they had like a big buffet type setup, and you could just eat how much ever you want, which was delicious. The food was so yummy. The venue was really nice. So we did that on Christmas Day. We also spent the morning talking to our families, which was really nice. It was like the first time we had like phone call conversation with them. So it was nice to catch up with them and see all my little nieces and nephews. And then we, I think we went for a walk after lunch, just in the countryside. I mean, Canada is gorgeous. So wherever we go, it's beautiful. While I'm talking, I'll try and put some photos up here so that you're not just looking at me. Yeah, so we went there, we had a lovely time, and then we just relaxed in the afternoon. I'm pretty sure I stitched in the afternoon. So it was really, really nice. Without all the chaos of Christmas, because normally on Christmas with my family, we cook up a big lunch. So the day is mainly spent cooking and cleaning. So it was nice not to have to worry about any of that. What else did we do? And then on New Year's Eve, we ended up going to Niagara Falls to watch the fireworks, which was really cool. We kind of wanted to avoid the city because we knew that Toronto City can get a bit hectic. So we ended up going to Niagara Falls, which was beautiful. They still had all their Christmas lights set up. They had hundreds of Christmas lights. So we walked all through there, and it was really pretty. And then they had the falls actually lit up as well, which was really nice. So we saw that. And then they had the fireworks at midnight. I think I actually took a video, so I'll put it here. Yeah, I don't know how long that video goes for. I think it's only a few seconds, hopefully. So we watched the fireworks, and yeah, it was beautiful. It was freezing though, so it was really cold. It was kind of drizzling, like it wasn't raining, but it was kind of in between, like snowing and just drizzling a little bit. So we were quite damp, even though we had waterproof jackets on and stuff. But we felt damp, so it was really cold. But it was, yeah, super fun. And then yeah, so that was our New Year's Eve. In January, the beginning of January, I think hubby had a few days off work, so we ended up doing a few hikes, which was really pretty. And then we've actually just recently got back from our trip into Collingwood. So for my birthday, we booked a couple of nights up in Collingwood, which was like a 5-10 minute drive from Blue Mountain, which is where hubby went snowboarding. So we stayed in Collingwood because it was so much cheaper. Like Blue Mountain is a money pit. like I get it, you know, tourist attraction, whatever, but wow, you know, staying there and spending a couple of nights, you could easily go through money. Anyway, so we decided to stay in Collingwood, which was like half the price of if we stayed in Blue Mountain. So we stayed in this beautiful little room that was attached. I think it was attached to someone's house, but they had built it so that it was self-sufficient. So you had like, you know, your own bathroom and shower, and then you had like this little kitchenette sort of area, and then they had this electric heater. It's like electric fireplace, actually. Sorry, so you could see the fireplace lit, and oh, it was beautiful. Very, very nice. Yeah, so we stayed there and it was really, really beautiful. And then we did some hiking on my actual birthday. So on the Wednesday is the day that we drove drove up to Collingwood from Toronto. And we stopped off at, I forgot the name. It was a beautiful waterfall, Hogs Falls maybe. But anyway, it was a beautiful little walk through the forest, and then they had this gorgeous creek and this beautiful waterfall. Hopefully I'll be putting photos up. But it was really, really pretty. There had been like a decent amount of snow that had fallen, so we were walking in, you know, a good couple of feet of snow, which was so much fun. Yeah, so that's what we did. Most of the day was spent just walking and just mucking around. We ended up making a snowman, our first snowman that we made. Well, it was more like a snowman in a suit rather than a typical snowman. So that was really cool to do. And yeah, we just went out for lunch, and yeah, then we chilled that night. And that's when I started the little bit of stitching that I did, but I didn't really do that much. And then the next day, we spent most of the day at Blue Mountain. So in the morning, though, we actually went into, I think it was called Sunset Beach, someplace in Collingwood, which wasn't very far away from where we were staying. It's like a beachfront, the beachfront of the lake. It's not a beach in the typical traditional sense of beach, but the beachfront. And it was beautiful. It was such a calm morning that the water was like glass. And I ended up being able to snap this photo, and oh, it was stunning. It was so beautiful. And they had these massive chunks of ice and snow that were kind of like drifting out into the water, which was really cool to see. Yes, we did a nice little walk along there, which was really pretty. And then we went to Blue Mountain. So hubby had purchased all his snowboarding stuff already. And we kind of had planned for me to like rent stuff there. But the rental prices were too much, like, to me, not really worth it. Like, I'd rather buy secondhand stuff next time. So I didn't worry about, and you know, to be honest, I'd much rather spend that money on like crafting stuff. So I was like, I'll just sit here and relax while you go snowboarding. And I ended up bringing a book with me. So while hubby snowboarded, I was reading, which was really nice. And he had a blast. Luckily, he didn't hurt himself. We were worried because his dad went snowboarding once and had like fractured his wrist, and then his younger brother went snowboarding once and had like broken his collarbone. So I was like, you better not break anything. But he was sensible. He started off, mucking around. Like, he's been snowboarding before, so he really pretty much already knew what to do, but he practiced first, and then he went on he transitioned up rather than going on the biggest hill first. He like started with the small hills and worked his way up, and by the end he was really good. So he's been wanting to go snowboarding like every weekend, but there's just been no snow around. Like today it's cold, which is why I'm wearing a beanie, but there's no snow outside. So he's been kind of disappointed with the weather, to be honest, because we get promised that, towards the end of January there was going to be heaps of snow, and February is freezing. But, the last couple of weeks there's hardly been any snow. So we originally had planned to go back this weekend coming, but we don't think there'll be enough snow around. So we're going to just wait, and, when there's a big, decent amount of snow, we'll go. But yeah, so that was really, really fun. And then we, what else did we do that weekend? Yeah, we just spent the day hiking and snowboarding and just walking through the ice and snow. Like, I know probably from a point of view of someone who's lived in snow, it's probably not that exciting, but to us, seeing snow and being in snow is like amazing. Like, we both love it, and it's so pretty, really, really pretty. So that's pretty much it to really talk about our life plans. Don't really have anything else to really share. So I'll probably sign off here. Thank you so much for joining me, especially if you have made it this far. In my next video, I plan to just have more progress done on those things. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more knitting and crocheting to show you as well. I'm going to try and at least have one extra craft to show you each week, just so that I'm sure a lot of you guys are kind of interested. I love seeing other people's crafts. Like, I love cross stitching, but like to know as well that they dabble in other crafts too is really cool. So yeah. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the month and a lovely Valentine's Day, whether you spend it with someone you love or whether you spend it by yourself with a good book and you're stitching. There's been a few Valentine's Days where I have done that and I have loved it. So anyways, thanks so much. I will see you hopefully next month. Bye.